to the next point. We should ensure whatever we see is clear.
That means work is being done. We can see that it is in opposite direction.
Hi learners, it's another awesome opportunity to be with you, and I'm glad to be here today. We would be studying a topic, word processing, under the subject computer studies. From our previous topics, we have seen a lot about hardwares and softwares, and gradually we are coming to a point where we would need to understand how some of these softwares are being operated. We are coming to a point where we have to understand how they get synchronized with the hardware and how we get some of the hard copies we get and some of the soft copies we get. We are going to be considering very important things. This is foundational for word processing. By the end of the class, I hope that we would be able to understand or be able to vividly define what is word processing, define a word processor, and see the features or what are some of the functions that are being performed in word processing. Then thereafter, we're going to get into a word processing software environment, where we're going to be seeing a lot of features, studying and see how most of these features function. And when you follow me carefully, you would enjoy the class. So first of all, we'll start by defining the word processing. But before I define word processing, to give you a better understanding, for every hard copy you see, every newspaper you're able to read, for every textbook you're able to study, for every novel, for every document, is it a project, whatsoever it's written and is well arranged, and you're able to articulate and understand with little or no typographical errors, and you as a person has seen and has used, came all the way because of word processing. And we're going to see how this very topic, or how word processing brings about all of the documents we can see and either read on hard copies or visit them online and read them, and we're able to digest how all of those pictures come in and how the writings are being slanted. Some of them are straight, some of them are divided into 2 or 3 columns, and so on. Word processing would enable us understand this. So we'll start by defining word processing. Word processing can be defined as the activities concerned with creating, editing, formatting, storing, and printing a document. That is word processing. It's a process where information, data are taken into the computer, and after those data are brought in, they are being created, they are being edited, they are being formatted, and they are being stored and eventually being printed, and you are able to have them on hard copies. That is what we refer to as word processing. Secondly, word processor. Word processor, on the other hand, is a program used to produce mostly text documents. Mostly text documents. That's to tell you that we can also have some graphical documents that are being merged into, that are being brought into word processing. But mostly we edit text documents. So every typing, every word, and so on you type on any of those documents are being processed by word processors. And these word processors are programs. In other words, you can call them softwares. In other words, you can call them application. These 3 words work together hand in hand. So they are programs, they are softwares. Without them, you cannot do any serious or a gainful editing on text. Some of the examples of this document or these programs are, we have the word processor, which is available in Microsoft Word. We all know the Microsoft Office package is a package on its own, but Microsoft Word is a single software, is part of the package that is the Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Word is what? One word processor, the very common word processor that most people are conversant with. Like, most people use Microsoft Word a lot. We also have the Word Star. We also have Word Perfect. We have Army Pro and WordPad, etc., etc. Among others, we have a lot, but these are a few that you should know, my learners. For exam purpose, you might be asked, give 4 examples of word processors. So you should be able to remember 4 of this. But mostly, the one that is used, that is very common, especially in our country, Nigeria, and in fact in the whole world, is the word Microsoft Word. Going further, we'll see features of word processors. So in these softwares, these are possible features that must be available in every of this software. Number 1, we have editing feature. Number 2, we have the formatting feature. Number 3, we have the justification feature. Number 4, we have the finding and replacing feature. Number 6, we have the spell checking feature. Sorry, that was number 5. Then number 6, we have the file merging features. So these features put together make up what? The word processors, and enables them to perform a lot of functionality. So we'll be seeing each of this and explaining them, so we would have a better understanding of what word processors do. First and foremost, we're starting with the editing. The editing feature of a word processor. This is the ability to change text by adding, deleting, and rearranging letters, words, sentences, and paragraphs. Text editing is the main operation users perform in word processors, which typically also handles graphics and other multimedia files. In fact, editing is very important for every writer. You would actually bear witness with me that in most cases, when you write a page for the first time, you go over it to ensure that your sentences, you ensure that all of your parentheses and all of the comma, the full stops for the English students, you ensure that they are well placed, and you also check typographical error. You ensure that the words are well spelled, well arranged, and so on and so forth. And all of these things could be done manually, in as much as you can do them by writing with your pen on a paper and do all of your editing. Likewise, the computer helps you to do that even faster. And this is editing. So we are seeing editing as what? The ability to add. You're able to add to something that is missing. You're able to delete something that is not useful, a text that is not useful. You're able to what? Rearrange, bringing one before the other or one after the other. You rearrange all of those words to make sure that they give what? A better definition of what you're wanting to portray in every of your write-up. So that is the first feature, editing, and is one of the most done feature. You have to edit every work before it's presented out for further use. So we have what we call formatting. Secondly, we'll be seeing formatting. This refers to the structure, organization, presentation, or appearance when we speak of the color, the size, the font size, and the font face of a set of data in a document. Formatting, from the word format. formatting enables you change a lot of things. It adds spice to what you had already edited. If you've edited your spellings and you are very sure you don't have typographical error, you've arranged every paragraph accordingly, the formatting add more spice to your work. It makes it more beautiful, more presentable. We are speaking of colors. You might want your text to carry a color, not just black. You want it red, you want it blue, and so on. So you can add color. You can increase the size of your typed work. When you have typed a specific document, you want to increase the font size, you want to make it bigger than it is already, you can increase the size. We also have the font face, the type. The computer is it carries a lot of functionality, and it has special functions for font faces, whereby when you want your work, different artistic work, some are looking straight, some are slant, some are very, very so on, a lot of font. For when we go further, we're going to see all of this in word processing. Then we also have alignment, which is sometimes called justification. Alignment, which is sometimes called justification. If you have a car or your parents have a car, they do what we call alignment, ensuring that your car is balanced and is well kept, and that to the ground it's okay. And we know that the consequences of a car that is not well aligned is very, very bad. So therefore, we ensure that our cars are well aligned, so they would have a balance on the ground and can run very well and would perform their functions rightly. Likewise, in our typing, in our documents, alignment is defined as the arrangement of margins of the document on a page or pages. It is the alignment of text evenly between the right and the left margin of the page. You can align left, align right, and align center. You can also fully align your text. These are functions we'll be visiting subsequently in subsequent classes, but for now, what you need to know about alignment is the positioning of your write-up. You can align your work to the left. We have what we call margin for every student. That line that is being drawn on your exercise book is what is a margin you have to take note of. And logically, as a student, you're not supposed to start writing notes before your margin. You write after your margin. Only when you're listing, you can list maybe number 1, number 2 along your margins or in your margin. But you have those margins are setting demarcation on how far your work can be. So you can put your work, you align it to the left. You could also align your work to the right, and you could also centralize it. And you can also do what we call full alignment. It looks like a block. So you put all of your text all together, even if you have pictures or any audio or any multimedia you intend to add, you could align everything so they would be together. Then we also have the feature of find and replace. Find and replace. This means looking for a particular text in a document and replacing it with another word. Well, in most cases, it has to do with possibly spellings. When you're writing something, or you come to the computer has an ability to trace some missing words and inform the user, well, this is supposed to come before this, and it helps you to actually see some of your errors. And words that are missing could actually be found, then they are replaced. Or words that are placed in the wrong place could also be replaced by the right one. So that's what find and replace feature does. We're going to see all of these things gradually. We have the spell check. Spell check, very, very important feature. So we have a very comprehensive write-up. The spell check helps us a lot. Sometimes you can be carried away with a lot of things as a writer, and mistakenly you type or you spell some words wrongly. So but the word processing gives us an ability, or it helps us to identify wrongly spelled words. The spell check, this is the capability of the word processor to check the correctness of spellings or the grammar of the document using a particular dictionary. It could be British or American dictionary. So this spell check ensures if you're typing, you're using the American English or the British English, it helps you to check. Like when you're spelling color, we know one spelling for color has COLOUR, another has only COLOR. So we have different spellings depending whether British or America. It works, it helps us. It carries a dictionary that enables, even when you are spelling wrongly, it gives you what possible suggested words, so you could pick the right one and spell rightly. Then we have file merging. File merging is a modern word processor, have the ability to join two or more documents to form one. These documents can be text or graphics, just from the word merge. Merge is to bring two different entities, putting them together to form one. That is what that ability, the file merging feature of the word processor. Then we have the word processing environment. We're going to get into this, and possibly in our next class we'll elaborate more on this. The word processing environment, below is a typical word processing environment. We would be considering the Microsoft Word package, which will be demonstrated in this session. You know, I told you the most used is the Microsoft Word environment, and this is from our picture. You could see this is a blank word processing or Microsoft Word environment, and we'll be considering this. It's made up of different things. It also has a lot of features we are going to be considering. So we are going to see those features. Then in our next class we would be able to consider or elaborate on each of these features. So you could see it. The word processing environment is made up of the following features. We have what we call the title bar. The title bar, just like every work has a title, the title bar does what carries the title of your work. Then we also have the menu bar. Menu, that means so many actions you could perform in the word processing. When you go to any restaurant, you are being given a menu to pick which you want. So eventually when you are working on your word processor, that is the Microsoft Word, which we would be considering, you would see most of this menus. You have different items or different functionalities you could add up to your Word documents. They also have the toolbars. Those are the tools you use to work. Like you have your pencil and biro in the physical state. You also have what we call the toolbars, which you use to do all of those write-ups and editing. We have the ruler helping us to align our work, helping us to ensure that everything is falling in place. We also have the ruler, and that is part of the word processing environment. We have the text or work area. It's a blank, the work area where you can type and do a lot of things. Then we have what we call the scroll bars, and also we have the status bar. All of these features we're going to be considering one after the other and what they do, and we would see them live and would understand them more, so that by the end of word processing, every of my students should be able to run through this word processing, use most of these packages, and run and do a lot of wonderful things. So we've come to the end of the class. I'm going to just give a summary of what we have done from the beginning. We're able to define word processing, which we saw as editing of work, creating, editing, storing, and eventually printing of documents. We also saw what we refer to as the word processors, which we call them programs or softwares that enables us perform word processing. And we saw that the examples are Microsoft Word, we have the word style, we have the word perfect, and so on and so forth. You can go on and call them. Then we also saw the features of word processors. All of those features, we saw editing, we saw formatting, we saw justification, we saw finding and replacing. We're able also to see spell checking and file merging. Then lastly, we're able to visit the word processing environment, that is Microsoft Word, which is our template. That's what we'll be using to describe or to understand word processing more. Microsoft Word, we saw the environment and we could see how beautiful the environment is, and it's made up of several features. We saw the title bar, we have the menu bar, we have the toolbars, we have the rulers, the text or the work area, the scroll bars, and status bar. And all of these features are used to make our work wonderful and presentable. So in our next class, we'll study each and every feature of the word environment, and that will take us to the next phase. And thank you for watching. I believe you have actually gained a lot from this very teaching, and I would not leave you idle. I want to keep you busy, giving you an assignment for you to work to ensure you understand what I have taught you. Number one assignment is define word processing. Define word processing. Number two, define word processor. Number two, define word processor. Number three, list the features of word processors. List the features of word processors. Number four, which is the last, list 5 features of Microsoft Word processing environment. I'll take that again. Number one, define word processing. Number two, define word processor. Number three, list the features of word processors. Number four, list 5 features of Microsoft Word processing environment. I have references for you. These references would guide you. Peradventure you have one challenge or the other. We have the HIIT PLC Computer Studies for Senior Secondary Education. We have the Advanced Computer Science for Senior Secondary Schools. And finally, we have the www.google.com. Google is always your friend. You could check all of this information on Google and you would not regret it. And once you're done with your assignment, you can contact me. I still remain myself, Ezekiel Abrak Anthony, and you can contact me either via WhatsApp or text message or a phone call. You could actually meet or contact me for any challenge you need me to come in for you, or you can submit your assignment. Very, very important, you submit your assignment to me so I could see and get back to you if you actually got everything rightly. My number 080 364 20271. 080 364 20271. And the nuggets for today is that study or hard work never kills. So I encourage you, my students, to burn your midnight candles, study hard, and your success will be sure. So stay safe and keep learning. God bless you. Thank you.